In the year 1783, in the village of Mundal Gaut in India, a peculiar child was born with two heads. The midwife who assisted in the birth was so frightened by the child's appearance that she attempted to kill it by throwing it into the fire. Fortunately, the baby was saved with some burns on its eye and ear. Once the parents got over their initial shock, they began to exploit the newborn to make money. They left their village to showcase their two-headed baby. The two-headed baby garnered significant attention and brought in a considerable amount of money for the family. During their shows, they would hide the unfortunate baby under a sheet for hours to prevent the crowd from looking at it without paying. The fame of this unusual baby had spread all the way to India. Many nobles, government officials, and city authorities invited the family to their homes to get a closer look at this extraordinary child. One of the observers, Colonel Pierce, described the baby to the president of the Royal Society, Sir Joseph Banks, who then relayed the incident to the surgeon Everard Home. When we say two-headed, you might imagine two heads side by side, but in this case, the second head had grown above the primary one, in an inverted fashion, ending at the neck. The second head had some irregularities. Its ears were misshapen, and its tongue and lower jaw were quite small. Other than that, both heads were of the same size, and the joining point was covered with hair. The second head seemed to function independently. When the child cried or smiled, the features of the upper head weren't always affected and didn't necessarily correspond to the child's emotions. When the child slept, the second head could remain awake and move its eyes as if it were observing its surroundings. The second head responded to external stimuli. When pinched on the cheek, it would scrunch up its face, and it attempted to suckle when offered a breast. It could produce tears and saliva, but its corneal reflexes were absent, and its eyes responded weakly to light. One day, the mother left the child alone at the age of 4 to fetch water, and upon her return, she found the child dead from a cobra bite. Many anatomists offered to buy the body, but the devout parents did not permit it. The child was buried near the Bupnarain River outside the city of Tumlok, but the grave was later robbed by a company called Bay Dent. The decomposed remains were dismembered, and the skull was given to Buchanan, who later brought it to England and gave it to his friend, Everard Home. When Bay Dent examined the skulls, they discovered that the brains were separate and distinct. The child's condition is now known as craniopagus parasiticus, an extremely rare form of parasitic twinning that occurs in about 2 to 3 per 5 million births. Initially, the embryo starts as twins but cannot fully separate, with one twin remaining undeveloped and attaching to the more developed one. Parasitic conjoined twins are exceptionally rare and often stillborn or cannot survive after birth. The only feasible treatment is surgical removal of the parasitic twin, but such surgeries are highly risky. In 2004, Rebecca Martinez was born with this rare condition in the Dominican Republic, underwent surgery at 8 weeks old but tragically succumbed to bleeding. In 2005, Manar Maged was born with the same condition in Egypt, successfully underwent a 13-hour surgery but passed away a few weeks later due to a recurring infection. More recently, in 2021, a baby was born with two heads in Bucharest, Romania, but sadly, it died a few hours after birth. Hey there, folks, it's Galati Renee from Tanzania. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button on my videos, or else the YouTube fairies might play pranks on you. Catch you later, and thanks a bunch. Later.